You got the invite?
Yep.
If this is just a bunch of hippies trying to flog us some crystals.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Alternative medicine's big business these days.
Helicopter landing pad.
What?
That's what we'll say if one of us wants to go.
Helicopter landing pad?
Yeah. We'll give this half an hour and then go and scoff our faces with some additives and toxins, man.
We need to stay at least an hour. We're representing the surgery.
OK. The first sign of a lentil and I'm out of it.
Lentils are very in these days. Don't you watch The Naked Chef?
Hey, Tiger! Yeah! Look at you! Wow, you've grown. Kiss?
Mm. Right, have your presents now.
I have got for you one baseball cap, one tour T-shirt, and I've set up the computer for you, little man. It is ready to go.
I've done his lunchbox, so you don't have to worry. I'll make sure it's not too late to bed.
Sure.
And please get him to school on time. You get order marks if they're late. You only send it into a paper.
Oh, well, don't worry, because I'm still on American time, so I'll be up with the lark.
How was the tour?
Too long. How's he been?
Okay. You know. Or maybe you don't.
Can we not get into this? Dylan's sake.
Bye, love. Be good. I'll pick you up from school tomorrow. Don't forget your tablet in the morning. And give them straight to Mrs. Taylor when you get to school, all right?
So you can concentrate when he's interested.
Life's not just about computers, Gary. Look, I've got to go. My class starts in 10 minutes.
Hello, Daddy. Told you.
What have they invited us for then?
Referrals.
No such thing as a free canapé.
Dylan is a rock star. Dylan is a rock and roll star. Right, time for bed, mate.
Oh, please, Dad, just a bit longer.
All right, but don't tell your mum.
Let me play that for you.
That was fantastic. You know, genius, you know that? Watch out, it's hot. That's great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Are you enjoying yourself tonight?
Yeah, I am, thank you. Yeah, of course I'd refer a patient for osteopathy or acupuncture if that's what I thought they needed. Sometimes alternative methods can repair the parts that traditional medicine cannot reach, particularly in the cases of chronic pain. I mean, what would you rather have? A handful of painkillers or a massage?
Oh, yeah?
Flat battery. I left my lights on all night. Keep the change, thanks.
Cars, eh? Who'd have them?
Dill, where's your reading book?
Oh, here.
Right. Right, have we got all your stuff together? Because your mum's going to kill me if we forget anything.
Lunchbox.
Lunchbox. How long have you been taking these?
She gave me some really interesting case studies. particularly with allergies and stress-related illnesses, where traditional medicine often comes up against a brick wall.
Well, there's got to be something in it. The Chinese have been using acupuncture for thousands of years.
Well, Steve swears by it.
Oh, I couldn't bear someone sticking pins into me. Makes me go all funny.
All very well for people with money to burn. I mean, how much does a session cost?
20 to 30 quid.
What use is that to the average woman in the street?
Hey, don't take it out on me. I'm not running the country.
Okay, right, but he doesn't need thinking about. We can only refer people who can afford it. Oh dear, heavy night.
It must have been a dodgy prawn in one of them canopies.
Dodgy prawns. Nasty.
Weren't you wearing that dress last night?
People in glass houses.
All right, Enoch.
Dad, I've got to take one now.
Listen, you don't need them. I don't care what anyone else has told you. You're all right as you are. You're a great kid, okay?
Was there something else?
Yes, actually there is.
What's the problem?
It's my daughter. I want to put her on the pill.
You mean Zoe?
Yeah.
What? Well, she's only 13.
14.
Well, let's not split hairs.
I know you must think I'm mad, Dr. Powers, but honestly, if you could see her, it's worrying me sick.
I'm really sorry, Mum. They were winding me up. I didn't mean to.
Did you forget your pill? What is it?
Dad found them. I took them down the toilet.
Never mind. It's not your fault. We'll go to the surgery and get you some more. You'll be fine. You wouldn't recognise her. She's as tall as I am. She looks about 18. Her clothes. Well, to be quite honest, I don't know why she bothers wearing any.
Girl pal has a lot to answer for.
She goes out with her friends most nights, and I don't want to stop her having fun. I've given her a mobile phone so I can keep tabs on her. But how do I know what she's up to?
Have you tried talking to her?
Yeah, but she insists she's not doing anything. But she would say that, wouldn't she?
Well, if she is having sex or even thinking about it, then she does need to be protected.
Exactly.
But I can't just write a prescription. I need to see Zoe, talk things through with her, make sure she understands all the implications.
She might take more notice if it comes from you. She just thinks I'm nagging.
Now, I've got a family planning clinic this afternoon. Why don't you bring her in after school?
You don't think I'm being neurotic, do you?
Of course not. I think you're being realistic. Kids grow up really fast these days.
The thing is, with teenage girls, they think it's not going to happen to them. They take risks, and then they wonder why they end up pregnant.
I need to see Dr. Thompson urgently.
I'm afraid she's got a very full list this morning.
I need a prescription.
Is it an emergency?
Yes. My son can't manage without his Ritalin. He's already been in a fight this morning. He's ADHD.
Oh.
Please, I've got to get back to work. I'm already on a warning.
I shouldn't really do this, but I'll squeeze you in before the next patient as long as you promise to be quick.
Thanks.
I'll just get his notes. Kate, what's ADHD when it's
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Affects the concentration. Causes problems in the classroom. Can be very disruptive.
Sounds like my brother. He'd always got ants in his pants.
Actually, that's not a bad description.
Mrs. Corcoran, do you want to go through now?
Would you mind keeping an eye on him? Only, I want to talk to the doctor in private.
Of course. He looks angelic. I can't imagine him starting a fight.
He flushed the pills down the toilet. Told Dylan he didn't need them. The poor kid was so wound up he got into a fight before assembly even started. Oh, it's so humiliating. And it's awful for Dylan. He always gets the blame because of his condition. And I know the other kids egg him on. He can't cope without his Ritalin.
It's okay, Tessa. I'll do another prescription now. There's one thing I want to get straight, though. Does your husband know about Dylan's medication?
No. There's no point in him knowing.
You can't have Dylan on a controlled drug without his father knowing, especially if he has to take responsibility for him.
Gary doesn't know the meaning of the word.
So does he stay with him often?
He has to. I teach life drawing 3 nights a week. I can't afford a babysitter.
It's not fair on Dylan to be receiving mixed messages. When we talked through the options, we agreed the most important thing for him was a stable environment.
That's not going to happen, is it?
You've got to talk to him, Tessa.
I've got an Adrian Richards on the line for you.
Sounds gorgeous. Yeah, well, you're wrong. He's 5'4" with ginger hair and he's coming to fix my shower.
Oh, I didn't have him down as a plumber.
Well, there you go, then. Listen, can you ask him to call me back? I'm just about to see my next patient.
If you wouldn't mind calling back at dinner time, she's with her patients. Okay, thanks. Bye. Oh, no! Where's it gone? Stop it! You can't do that! Stop it! Your mummy will be very angry with you.
We won't discuss it. Ritalin's just not an option as far as Gary's concerned. He says it's a cop-out. He says it's no better than doping him.
Perhaps if he knew how well Dylan was doing on it.
If I try and talk to him about it, it'll turn into a slanging match. It's all right for him having principles, but half the time it's the other side of the world. He goes off on tour for weeks on end, then comes back and spoils Dylan rotten. He's got all the time in the world for him when he's here, but he doesn't have to worry about getting him to school, getting his homework done. I feel guilty, of course I do, but the Ritalin's the only way I can cope. It's changed my life, and Dylan's. But try telling Gary that.
We've got to talk to him now he's found the pills.
He'll just tell me I've taken the easy way out. He can only see one side of the argument. Maybe if you talk to him.
Hey, it says here you can have acupuncture for weight loss. Do you think it works?
You hardly need to lose any weight, Joe.
You're joking, aren't you? Look, I can pinch way more than an inch.
I should be so lucky.
I personally like something to get hold of.
Do you think it hurts? It's got to, hasn't it? I've seen it on the telly. They stick them pins in everywhere.
Oh, thanks for getting me in and for keeping an eye on him. Has he been all right?
Good as gold.
Come on, let's get you back to school.
Bye. Don't know how she copes.
He was all right once you found him something to be interested in.
Well, that's the trick with ADHD. They're often geniuses, you know.
Oh, yeah, like who?
Well, Winston Churchill, apparently.
Oh, great. That's something to look forward to. Child from hell running the country.
So you're the one responsible for doping my son?
Not me personally. Actually, it was a psychiatrist that diagnosed him.
But you went along with it.
It wasn't a decision taken lightly. We got several professional opinions from an educational psychologist, from Dylan's teachers.
It's just a pity you forgot to ask his father.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. At the time, Tessa led me to believe you were out of the picture.
Yeah, I'm as far as she's concerned. Unless she needs a free babysitter.
I see. So you disagree with Dylan taking Ritalin?
You shouldn't need to take mind-altering drugs just to fit in.
You do realise how serious his condition is?
There's nothing wrong with my son.
He was on the point of being excluded from school just before we put him on Ritalin.
Then that's the school's fault. Dylan's cleverer than most of those teachers put together.
ADHD children are often very bright.
Don't patronise me. Or him.
So, you tell me, what do you see as the alternative?
Just let him be who he is. Dylan just needs time and attention.
I don't think you understand the full implications.
I so do. But apparently my opinion doesn't count.
That's not true. Why else do you think I asked you here?
I don't know. I don't know what you or Tessa are trying to achieve. He's not taking them anymore. End of story.
Okay.
Yeah, just the usual mouthful of abuse from a defensive parent. The anti-Ritalin contingent.
Yeah, well, it's had a lot of bad press lately.
Why do people always believe what's in the papers rather than the evidence that's put in front of them?
Well, you know what it's like. People love a bit of controversy, especially where kids are concerned.
So, if your child was ADHD, would you be happy for them to go on Ritalin?
I might look at the alternative first.
Which are?
No idea.
As far as I can see, there aren't any. When Dylan first came to see me, I found out as much as I could about ADHD. I genuinely thought that Ritalin was his best option. And it seems to have been working very well.
So, What's the problem?
Dad's dead against it. But it's his mum who's got to live with him.
So get the dad to find a solution.
He doesn't think there's anything wrong with his son in the first place.
Oh, catch-22.
Something like that.
Listen, I know someone who might have ideas about alternative treatments. I'll give...
You've just got the 2 coil fittings booked in, okay?
Oh, that's fine. Hopefully it won't be too busy.
Yeah, you look like you could do with an early night.
Yeah.
Hello, Riverside Surgery. Hiya, did you want to talk to Caroline about her plumbing?
What?
It's the ginger midget for you.
I'll take it in my room.
I'm just putting you through. There's no way is he a plumber. He's too posh.
Do you think romance is in the air?
I don't know. Do you think he knows what he's letting himself in for?
No. You'll have to find out the hard way, just like we did.
Hello, Adrian. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get to the phone earlier. It's been chaos. Listen, about last night, it was great. I can't remember the last time I had such a good night out. Tonight? Well, actually, I don't think that's such a good idea. Oh, look, please don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not really ready for a relationship right now. Yeah, I thought I was, and I'm sorry if I sent out the wrong messages last night. Well, thank you for being so understanding. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've got your number if I change my mind. Yeah. Take care, bye-bye.
Have you seen Dylan anywhere?
For some reason, Mum's got it into her head that I'm sleeping with everything that moves.
I didn't say that.
Well, why do you keep going on at me about going on the pill?
Some of your friends are sleeping with boys.
Yeah, but doesn't mean I am.
But when they got their belly buttons pierced, you copied them.
Actually, I was the first.
You told me... And you expect me to trust you?
Look, Mum, I know about the facts of life, but I'm not ready to sleep with anyone yet. All the blokes I know are totally pathetic. I'm not interested. When I am, I'll get myself sorted.
Mrs. Carter, Zoe does seem very well informed. I think you can trust her.
You don't understand.
Mum!
You never know when you might get carried away.
I'm not going to get carried away.
You can't say that. Believe me, I know. I don't want you making the same mistake I did.
Mum?
The jury's still out as far as alternative treatments are concerned, but there certainly are things you can look at. Diet, supplements, and cranial osteopathy. Trouble is, a lot of them take time. You're not going to get an overnight effect, not like the Ritalin. It's just a question of trial and error. You've got to be patient.
This all looks really interesting, thanks.
I was just like you at 14. I thought I knew it all. I thought I was in control. No one was ever going to catch me out. Then one night I met this bloke. It was the last night of our holiday. He was beautiful. I thought, this is it. I'm in love. So I let him. And it was magic. Right there on the beach. I sneaked back to Mum and Dad's caravan after. I dreamt about him all night. The next morning I got up. And his parents' van had gone. I didn't know where he lived or anything. But I certainly had something to remember him by. 3 weeks later, I realised I was pregnant. And there was nothing for it. I had to have an abortion. It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I've been haunted by it every day since. I don't want you to have to go through what I did.
Where's Dr. Thompson?
She's in her office. But you can't go through... Surgery hasn't started yet!
What have you done? What have you said to him?
What's happened?
He took Dylan out of school. He's taken him back to his flat. He won't let me see him.
Just calm down a minute.
What am I going to do?
I've been doing some research this afternoon.
Oh, yeah? What on?
Alternative treatments. Now, I'm not saying they're the answer, but at least they're a starting point for a discussion. you try and meet Gary halfway, maybe we can sort this out.
Sounds a nightmare, Mum.
It was. Now can you understand why I want her to go on the pill? I understand your concern, Mrs. Carter, but if Zoe's sure she's not ready, then I don't really want her taking it.
No, I don't want my body pumped full of hormones for no reason.
Now, if I make Zoe promise that when she thinks the time's right, then she comes to talk to me.
Anyway, Mum, there's always the morning after pill. I don't suppose they had it in your day.
I wouldn't really recommend relying on that, only in dire emergencies. And anyway, you should always practice safe sex, even if you are on the pill.
Well, if you ask me, I think it's much better to avoid the whole thing. Can't be worth all this bother.
He's obviously very angry he wasn't consulted, and I think he has a point.
If he thinks it's so easy, then let him cope. In fact, maybe that's the answer. Maybe I should just let Dylan go and live with Gary.
That's not the answer, and you know it isn't.
Ah, the Ritalin posse.
Where's Dylan?
Playing out there, just like any normal kid.
Mr. Corcoran, can we talk about this like civilized human beings?
Sure.
It was getting unbearable. I was having to go into school every other day. Either that or Dylan was sent home. Eventually, the headmaster gave me a leaflet. Suggested he might be ADHD. It was strange. Instead of being upset, I was so relieved to find out there might be an explanation for his behavior. Even more when I found out there was something I could do about it. But I didn't just take the Ritalin and shove them down his throat. I spent ages on the internet talking to other people who got kids with the same problem. First time I gave him a tablet. Oh, I was so nervous. I kept checking up on him just to make sure he wasn't growing two heads or anything. And you know what? It was like a miracle. Suddenly, we had a normal life. He wanted to go to school. He had mates home. He was even asked to other people's houses. I've always loved Dylan. But I know as well as anybody that it wasn't always easy to like him. But now, it's like he's a different child. Though he's still Dylan. Don't blame me, Gary. I only did what I thought best.
I don't blame you. I blame myself. I've been reading up on it. ADHD's hereditary.
Not necessarily. It's a neurobiological disorder.
Yeah, well, I read all the symptoms, and it could be me. I got written off at school just like Dylan. I was branded a troublemaker, disruptive, a waste of space. Nobody ever bothered to take the time and the trouble just to find out what made me tick. And in my day, we didn't have a drug that stopped you being a nuisance.
That's not the point of Ritalin, Gary. It's for Dylan's benefit, not the school's.
Yeah, I know. But how do you think it feels knowing you've passed something like that on to your son? I was lucky. You know, I found something I was good at. I just lost myself in music. Maybe Dylan will be the same, I don't know. Hope so. In the meantime, I feel really guilty and really helpless.
Listen, Tessa and I have been talking. We can look into other treatments. There are lots of alternative possibilities.
I'm happy to give it a go, Gary. But you've got to help me. We've got to do it together.
I don't know, I'm starting to think you've done the right thing.
What?
I talked with Dylan this afternoon.
And?
And he showed me his homework. And he'd done it all by himself. It was perfect. He said, see, Dad, I'm not a thicko. And he told me it was his pills and he begged me not to throw them away. Can't really argue with that, can I?
I'm sorry, just having a good laugh at Mac's expense.
Would you sum a prescription?
Sure.
Don't say anything. I don't think I could handle it.
Morning after pill.
Yeah, and you know the irony? I've just been lecturing a 14-year-old girl on safe sex. I feel so irresponsible. And here's me applying to be a police surgeon.
We all get carried away sometimes. Nice to know you're human.
Thanks.
Want to talk about it?
No.